In this video, we will guide you through the top 22 accounts payable interview questions and their answers. We aim to prepare you for your upcoming job interview, boosting your confidence and improving your chances of success. 1. What does accounts payable mean and what is its role in an organization? Accounts payable refers to the short-term liabilities of a company, representing the amounts it owes to its suppliers for the goods and services it has purchased on credit. Its role in an organization is crucial as it is responsible for managing and paying the bills or debts the company owes, ensuring timely and accurate payments. This function plays a key role in maintaining good relationships with vendors by ensuring that they are paid on time. It also contributes to the company's cash flow management as it has a direct impact on the company's liquidity position. By managing accounts payable efficiently, a company can improve its cash flow, maintain good credit ratings, and avoid unnecessary late fees and penalties. 2. Can you explain the accounts payable process from invoice receipt to payment? The accounts payable process begins when an invoice arrives. It is then logged into the system, creating an accounts payable. Next, the invoice undergoes a three-way match, comparing it with the purchase order and the receiving report to ensure accuracy. If it matches, it is approved for payment. The invoice's details are then entered into the accounting system, and it is scheduled for payment based on the vendor's payment terms. The payment is made on the due date, either by check, credit card, or electronic funds transfer. After the payment, the accounts payable for that invoice is closed in the accounting system. Note, the above explanation is based on a standard accounts payable process. Variations may occur based on specific company policies or procedures. 3. What are the key components of an invoice that need to be verified? One essential step in the accounts payable process is verifying the accuracy of an invoice. Key components that need to be checked include the vendor's name and contact information, the invoice number, and the date of issue. The description and quantity of each item or service provided should also be reviewed, along with the unit cost and total amount due. Additionally, payment terms, such as the due date and any early payment discounts, should be verified. Lastly, the delivery details including address and contact should be cross-checked. It is essential to verify all these components to ensure that the invoice is accurate and to avoid any potential discrepancies or payment issues. In handling invoices, I always ensure to check these key details thoroughly. I believe that meticulousness in this process can greatly reduce errors and discrepancies, thus ensuring smooth and accurate transactions with vendors. 4. How do you ensure accuracy when processing invoices and payments? Accuracy is crucial in invoice processing. I ensure this by implementing strict procedures and checks at every stage of the process. Firstly, I verify all details on the invoice such as vendor name, date, and amount against the purchase order. I also employ the three-way matching process, which involves comparing the invoice, purchase order, and receiving report. Any discrepancies are immediately investigated and resolved. In terms of payments, I cross-check all outgoing payments with the corresponding invoices to make sure the right amount is paid to the right vendor. If there are any discrepancies, I investigate and rectify them before making the payment. I also use accounting software to automate and streamline the process, which minimizes human error and ensures accuracy. To further guarantee accuracy, I regularly audit the accounts payable process. This involves checking a sample of transactions to ensure they have been processed correctly. Periodic audits help identify any weaknesses in the system and allow necessary improvements to be made. In addition, I keep myself updated with any changes in accounting standards and regulations that may affect the invoice processing and payments. This ensures that all transactions are compliant with the relevant laws and regulations. Finally, I maintain good relationships with vendors, which is helpful in resolving any issues quickly and efficiently. The key to accuracy in invoice processing and payments is a combination of strict procedures, regular checks, and good vendor relationships. 5. Can you describe the three-way matching process in accounts payable? In the accounts payable department, the three-way matching process serves as a crucial internal control procedure. The three documents involved are the vendor's invoice, the purchase order, and the goods receipt note. The details on these documents must align perfectly before a payment can be authorized. This process helps to verify that the organization received the correct items, in the right quantity, at the agreed price. It also aids in the prevention of duplicate payments or paying for items that were not received. Any discrepancies must be resolved before proceeding with payment. The three-way match system involves cross-referencing the invoice received from the vendor with the original purchase order and the goods receipt note. This process ensures that we are being billed for the correct goods or services, in the right quantity, and at the agreed prices. Any discrepancies can be a sign of error or fraud, thus it is important to reconcile them promptly and accurately. This method aids in minimizing the chance of overpayment, duplicate payment, or payment for goods not received. This system is an essential part of internal controls and contributes to the financial integrity of the organization. 6. What strategies do you use to optimize the payment cycle and take advantage of early payment discounts? In managing the payment cycle, my primary focus is always on efficiency and cost effectiveness. I employ the following strategies. Prompt invoice processing. I ensure that invoices are processed in a timely manner to avoid late payment penalties and take advantage of early payment discounts if applicable. Effective cash flow management. I closely monitor the organization's cash flow to determine the most advantageous time to make payments. Negotiating favorable terms with vendors. I proactively discuss payment terms with vendors to negotiate discounts or more favorable payment schedules. Utilizing technology. I use accounts payable software to automate and streamline the payment process, reducing errors and improving efficiency. By implementing these strategies, I am able to optimize the payment cycle and enhance the financial health of the organization. 7. How do you handle discrepancies between purchase orders, invoices, and receiving documents? Handling discrepancies between purchase orders, invoices, and receiving documents requires careful attention to detail and a systematic approach. First, I compare all three documents to identify the source of the discrepancy. This could be a mismatch in quantities, prices, or product codes. Once identified, I contact the relevant party, be it the vendor or the internal procurement team, to resolve the discrepancy. In some cases, it might require issuing a credit note or adjusting the invoice. It's essential to document each step and keep a detailed record for future reference and audit purposes. It's also important to address discrepancies promptly to avoid delays in payment and maintain good vendor relationships. All actions should adhere to the company's policies, procedures, and internal controls to ensure compliance and accuracy. This process not only ensures accurate payments but also contributes to efficient and effective accounts payable operations. 8. What methods do you employ to prevent duplicate payments? In preventing duplicate payments, it's essential to have a robust system in place. This usually involves the implementation of a comprehensive accounts payable software that can detect potential duplicates based on invoice number, vendor, and amount. Regular audits of the accounts payable process also serve as a deterrent to duplicate payments. It's also useful to have a stringent invoice processing procedure, which includes verifying details before making payments. Always ensure that the company's policies and procedures are adhered to avoid making payments on unapproved invoices. Lastly, maintaining good relationships with vendors can also help as they can alert you to any potential duplicate payments. 9. Can you explain the concept of accrued expenses and how they relate to accounts payable? Accrued expenses are costs that an organization has incurred but not yet paid. As part of the accrual accounting method, these expenses are recorded in the period they occur, not when they are paid. Accounts payable, on the other hand, represents the amounts that the company owes its suppliers for goods and services received. In a sense, accrued expenses can be considered a subset of accounts payable. When an expense is incurred but not yet paid, it becomes an accrued expense. Once an invoice is received for this expense, it transitions from being an accrued expense to an account payable. So, the relationship between accrued expenses and accounts payable lies in the timing of the recognition and payment of expenses. Both concepts are crucial for maintaining accurate financial records and ensuring that all liabilities are accounted for, thereby providing a true and fair view of the company's financial position. 10. What internal controls are important in the accounts payable process? Internal controls play a pivotal role in safeguarding an organization's financial resources and ensuring accuracy in the accounts payable process. Some crucial controls include segregation of duties, where different individuals are responsible for different parts of the payment process to prevent fraudulent activities. Also, regular audits are essential to verify the accuracy of transactions and detect any irregularities. Organizations should also implement a proper approval process for all payments, with a particular focus on large amounts. The use of automation in accounts payable software can further strengthen these controls by reducing manual errors and enhancing efficiency. Another critical control is the three-way matching process, which involves verifying purchase orders, invoices, and receiving documents. This ensures that only valid and accurate payments are made. Lastly, maintaining accurate vendor master data is crucial to prevent any payment errors or fraud. 11. How do you handle vendor inquiries and resolve payment issues? When handling vendor inquiries, promptness and effective communication are crucial. It's important to quickly acknowledge the inquiry, investigate it thoroughly, and ensure that the vendor is regularly updated until the issue is resolved. For resolving payment issues, understanding the root cause is key. Be it a discrepancy in the invoice, delay in payment approval, or a system error, identifying the cause helps in not only resolving the current issue but also in preventing future occurrences. Regular audits and reviews of the accounts payable process also help in proactively identifying and rectifying potential issues. 12. How do you ensure compliance with tax regulations in accounts payable? Ensuring compliance with tax regulations within accounts payable requires rigorous attention to detail and a strong understanding of tax laws. Firstly, I make sure all invoices are correctly filled out and contain necessary information such as vendor details and tax numbers. Then, I cross-check these details with the vendor's master data. Also, I maintain an updated knowledge of tax laws and changes to ensure accurate tax calculations and deductions. If there are any doubts or discrepancies, I promptly address them with the vendor or consult a tax expert. I also use reliable accounts payable software that can automate tax computations and generate necessary reports for tax audits. This not only simplifies the process but also minimizes the risk of errors and non-compliance. 13. Can you describe your approach to reconciling vendor statements? My method for reconciling vendor statements involves a detailed comparison of our internal records and the vendor's statement. I begin by checking the accuracy of each invoice listed on the statement, ensuring that payment has been made for each one, or if not, determining why it hasn't been paid. I also look for any discrepancies, such as duplicate invoices or incorrect amounts. If discrepancies are found, I resolve them directly with the vendor. This process ensures that we are only paying for goods and services that we have received and that our financial records are accurate. 14. How do you handle the processing of employee expense reports and reimbursements? I start by ensuring that all expense reports are complete and have the necessary receipts or other supporting documents attached. If any information is missing, I contact the employee for clarification. I then validate the expenses against company policy to ensure they are authorized and within the set limits. For example, if a meal expense exceeds the company's daily allowance, it may not be fully reimbursed. After the validation process, I process the reimbursement through our accounting system. I also track all reimbursements to ensure they are paid in a timely manner. If there are repeated issues with an employee's expense reports, I provide them with additional training to avoid future problems. 15. What is your experience with electronic invoicing and payment systems? In my previous role, I extensively used electronic invoicing and payment systems. This experience made me proficient in handling electronic transactions and helped streamline our accounts payable process. I have worked with various systems such as QuickBooks, SAP, and Oracle, which have features for electronic invoicing and online payments. These systems not only reduced the time taken for invoice processing but also minimized errors. The automation of recurring payments was particularly beneficial in managing payments efficiently. Through this, we were able to pay our vendors on time, thus maintaining good relationships with them. The systems also provided reports that helped in keeping track of our payments and auditing. 16. How do you approach month-end and year-end closing procedures in accounts payable? The month-end and year-end closing procedures in accounts payable involve a series of steps. First, I ensure all invoices have been entered into the system. Then, I carry out a detailed review of all open items, such as pending invoices or unprocessed payments, to determine if these need to be cleared. Next, I reconcile the accounts payable ledger with vendor statements to ensure accuracy. If any discrepancies are found, I promptly address them. I also make sure any necessary accruals are posted. Lastly, I run a final report to check for any unusual entries before closing the period. This procedure is repeated at year-end, with added focus on regulatory compliance and preparation for audit. Note: the process may vary depending on the organization's specific policies and procedures. It's crucial always to adhere to the company's established guidelines. 17. Can you explain the difference between PO invoice and non-PO invoice? A PO invoice refers to a purchase order invoice, which is issued when an organization has requested an item or service from a supplier, and the supplier has agreed to supply that item or service at a certain price. This invoice typically includes details such as the quantity of items, description of the items, price, and payment terms. On the other hand, a non-PO invoice does not have a preceding purchase order. This type of invoice is typically used for ongoing services and recurring bills, such as utilities, rent, and professional services. Despite not having a preceding purchase order, Non-PO invoices must still be accurate and validated before they are paid. Both types of invoices are crucial in the accounts payable process and need to be managed efficiently to ensure timely and accurate payments. 18. How do you handle rush payment requests or emergency vendor payments? Handling rush payment requests or emergency vendor payments requires a balance of effective communication, quick decision-making, and efficient use of resources. First, I validate the urgency and legitimacy of the request by cross-checking it against contracts, purchase orders, and other related documents. If the request is valid, I expedite the approval and payment process to ensure the vendor receives payment promptly. In some cases, it might involve liaising with the bank to prioritize the transaction. At the same time, I keep relevant stakeholders informed about the situation to maintain transparency and avoid potential conflicts. Additionally, I keep a record of such instances to analyze trends and find ways to prevent frequent rush payments in the future. This approach allows me to handle emergency payments effectively while maintaining the financial health of the company. 19. What measures do you take to detect and prevent fraudulent activities in accounts payable? My approach for detecting and preventing fraudulent activities in accounts payable includes several strategies. First, I advocate for strong internal controls such as segregation of duties. This ensures that one person isn't responsible for processing, approving, and making payments. Second, I regularly conduct audits and reviews of transactions to spot any irregularities. Third, I utilize technology in detecting any anomalies in transaction patterns. Lastly, I encourage a culture of ethical behavior within the team, promoting transparency and accountability. All these steps help in mitigating the risk of fraud in accounts payable. 20. How do you stay updated on changes in accounting standards and regulations affecting accounts payable? I stay updated on changes in accounting standards and regulations affecting accounts payable by subscribing to professional accounting and finance newsletters, attending industry seminars, and participating in relevant webinars. I also frequently visit the websites of regulatory bodies such as the Financial Accounting Standards Board, FASB, and the International Accounting Standards Board, IASB. Membership in professional organizations also offers access to resources and updates. Regular training is an essential part of my professional development, and I make it a point to participate in courses and workshops that offer insights into the latest best practices and changes in the field. I also find it helpful to network with peers in the industry, as this can provide first-hand information on how others are adapting to new rules and standards. Another key aspect is to ensure the ERP system and other technical tools used in accounts payable are up to date. These systems often have built-in updates to comply with new regulations, and it's important to understand and apply these updates correctly. 21. Can you describe a situation where you improved efficiency in an accounts payable process? As an accounts payable specialist in my previous company, we had an outdated manual process for handling invoices which was not only time-consuming but also prone to errors. Recognizing the inefficiency, I proposed the use of an automated accounts payable system. I took the initiative to research various software options, present my findings to management, and help in the decision-making process. Once the system was chosen, I played a key role in its implementation and training the team on how to use it. The new system drastically reduced the time spent on processing invoices, minimized errors, and improved our department's productivity. This was a significant improvement in our accounts payable process. 22. How do you manage relationships with vendors and negotiate favorable payment terms? Effective vendor management necessitates clear communication, a thorough understanding of contract terms, and the ability to build strong relationships. I ensure regular communication with vendors to understand their needs and concerns. For negotiating favorable payment terms, I make sure to have a clear understanding of our cash flow and payment cycle. Also, by demonstrating our reliability as a customer and sharing our payment track record, I can negotiate better terms. Understanding the market standards for payment terms in our industry also helps me in these negotiations. In essence, it's about creating a win-win situation where both parties benefit. Please note that each negotiation is unique, so adaptability and a good understanding of finance and procurement are crucial. Remember, the key to acing any interview is adequate preparation and practice. We've sought to assist you in both these areas. We trust that you found this information valuable. If so, please show your appreciation by liking this video and subscribing to our channel for more insightful content. We wish you all the best in your interview.